Hi everyone, I'm Margarita Muradova, a personal stylist and fashion consultant from Kyiv, Ukraine. And in today's video, we're gonna talk about a very saucy topic. So items in my closet that, first of all, I kind of regret buying, and second of all, I would never, definitely never buy again. So let's start, shall we, with this beautiful pair of shoes. And there's some bags, there's some shoes, there's some accessories over here, and I'll explain the reasoning behind each and every item. So these shoes, these beautiful heels, are by Prada. They're absolutely stunning. The thing is, most of the time, so we do have a Prada store here in Kyiv. It's currently not working because there's war going on in Ukraine, which Russia started, obviously. But prior to this, there was a Prada store here. It was working, but most of the time I could not find items I was looking for in this store because there's not so much in stock usually over here. So most of the time I'd end up buying something for myself or for my clients with the help of buyers, so professional shoppers that do this like somewhere overseas, for example, and then they deliver these items to you here to Kyiv. So basically, I didn't have a way to actually try them on, and this is a tricky subject because I do not usually recommend buying shoes or anything for that matter without trying it on, because it's easy to be deceived by the look of the thing, and especially I'm talking about shoes. It's always a matter of how your shoe fits you, how your foot fits the shoe, etc., how high is the heel, how comfortable it is for you, and it's so personal. So most of the time, even if you're buying, for example, like a blazer, you could end up buying a blazer that's like a size bigger than you, but that's not that big of a problem, as opposed to a shoe. If it doesn't fit, it just doesn't fit. So the thing is, these do fit actually, but the problem is they're absolutely excruciatingly painfully uncomfortable. It's absolutely impossible to walk in them further than like 2 meters because the way the heel is created and structured, it doesn't leave much space for the base of your foot to be holding the rest of your foot basically. So what ends up happening is you're hurting the base of your foot so much to a point that you end up in like a crazy amount of pain. And the thing is, with this specific type of shoe and this specific model of a shoe, so I know 4 more people that have this exact shoe in their sizes, etc., and all of these 4 people have said absolutely the same thing. These are not comfortable. You cannot walk in them. You can kind of stand in them for a certain amount of time, but still they're kind of uncomfortable. So even though they look kind of comfortable because the heel is not so high and it's a block heel, so it's not supposed to be that painful, it ends up being really painful. So in terms of a shoe, I usually recommend trying on the shoes and making sure that there's an option of returning the item you've purchased. So just do as I say, don't do as I do. The next thing is a shoe as well. It's a pair of beautiful boots by R13. This is a brand actually that was really popular, I'd say like 4 to 5 years ago, and these were purchased by me in New York 4 or 5 years ago. The thing is, so you know there's Doc Martens, and those are completely uncomfortable up until a point when you've been wearing them for like a year or so, and then they get very comfortable. So when I was looking at an R14, which are definitely kind of created with a Doc Marten in the mind, I think I was thinking that because these are a different price points and they kind of look a bit different, they're gonna wear out much better and they're gonna be much more comfortable, and that's just not the thing. And actually I discovered that most of these R13 boots are not really comfortable long term, so that you cannot wear them in basically. You can never wear them in. So they look absolutely beautiful, they're really stylish, etc., but I actually ended up wearing them a couple of times because they never got to a comfortable point for me, and they're so sturdy, and the heel is so strict and structured, so there's no room for your leg to kind of spread out, so you end up hurting your foot so much. So yeah, I would definitely not buy these shoes again, and I do not recommend buying these boots again. I love R13 actually, but I suggest going for like their jeans or their t-shirts, but not their shoes, or at least not this specific model of a shoe. And the third pair of shoes I have, so basically there's no more pairs of shoes I have in this selection, is this beautiful pair of shoes. It's by NEOUS, whatever it is. This is a beautiful brand actually. And once again, these were purchased online, and most of the shoes, at least luxury items that I have, were purchased online because we don't have that many options offline, so you cannot actually just go into the store and try them on. These are really beautiful. I think these look like an actual piece of art, and if I'm not mistaken, NEOUS is an Australian brand, and they're really popular because and famous for their prints and their work with textiles, etc. So when I saw these shoes, I was like, this is a match made in heaven with me and my closet, and I absolutely love this print, and I love these shoes, don't get me wrong, but they're so uncomfortable because basically all of this is just fabric. So nothing is actually holding your feet in place to a point where you actually kind of slip to the right and to the left out of the shoe. And also, so this kind of over the knee boot thingy is also not really attached to your leg, so it always ends up going down just like a sock would. So it's also not holding its shape, it's not really comfortable, you cannot walk in these like long distances, and the heel is kind of higher than I'm used to, especially nowadays when I don't wear heels that much at all. So I definitely, even though they're absolutely beautiful, and I'm not planning actually of like selling them because they're so beautiful and I wear them from time to time, obviously I would not repurchase them, and I do not recommend buying over the knee boots that do not have the support for your feet, and also that do not hold its shape and stay on your leg the way they're supposed to, because actually that's usually the problem with 99% of over-the-knee boots. The fabric is just too thin. It doesn't get attached to your leg the way it's supposed to, so it ends up sliding down, and that's just not a look to have, you know. So if you're going for an over-the-knee boot, always make sure that there's some strings up top so you can tie them down, and then they hold their place on your leg. And the next thing we'll talk about is actually this really cute belt by Bottega Veneta, and I actually love it and I use it from time to time. But the thing is, I do not actually recommend buying it because it's made very poorly, which is not usually something that you can see a lot of in Bottega Veneta, but because I think this is so dainty and tiny, they didn't pay that much attention to detail in this belt. So this belt, once again, was purchased online by a buyer, so I didn't see it like close up until a point where it actually arrived. So when I saw it, there's some glue sticking out, there's some like paint sticking out, it doesn't look very neat, and the paint is always peeling. Look at this. This is like, I'm doing this live for you guys. So this is what ended up happening with this belt, and it's kind of pricey, so I don't think I like see a point or value in buying a belt of this size, which is not really like very practical. It's more of like an art piece or a statement piece in your closet, not something you would wear every day. So from that standpoint, I wouldn't say regret buying this, but I definitely do not recommend buying this type of a belt from Bottega Veneta. So one more piece of accessories I have over here, and this actually is not only about these specific sunglasses, which are also by accident Bottega Veneta. I have nothing against the brand, actually, it's just these were the first ones I picked up. But what I wanted to touch base on actually is just all the sunglasses I have, because I love their look, but I absolutely, that's my secret, I hate sunglasses. And I have like at least I think 7 or 6 pairs of sunglasses, and I end up wearing none of them because I hate the feeling of having something on my face. So thank God I have a good vision, because I would really be uncomfortable with wearing like like usual glasses every day, because this like feeling of something being on your nose and your face is really, really uncomfortable for me. So even though these are really beautiful, I use them sometimes for photos most of the time, but anyways, for sun protection sometime when I'm on the beach actually, but most of the time I usually end up squinting in the sun and not wearing any sunglasses because I absolutely hate them. So I wouldn't say I regret buying them, because actually the cost per wear to this point is really good, because I've been wearing them in photos and shootings and stuff. But in terms of practicality, I would definitely kind of, you know, stay away from the things that you think would not suit your lifestyle. So in my case, that would definitely be sunglasses. And the last thing I want to show you is this actually stunning, beautiful tweed bag by Chanel, and I love it. So the thing is, I would repurchase it for sure, but I would not recommend buying tweed Chanel bags for you most of the time if you're not like a collector of Chanel, or if you're someone who's really, really picky in terms of your clothing and your pieces looking really pristine, because tweed is definitely the kind of material that gets a lot of wear and it looks really kind of sometimes messy, dirty, etc., because it rubs on your clothing, and some like parts of your clothing's patterns, fabrics, coloring can transfer onto this bag. So it ends up looking a bit disheveled, which is a look I actually appreciate, but I know most people do not. And I feel like tweed bags, in terms of the way they would serve you and the longevity of these bags, are definitely not the kind of a bag that would suit longer for your needs and your lifestyle than, for example, like a lambskin or a caviar finished material bag by Chanel. Those are definitely like lifetime pieces, something that you would end up giving to your granddaughters, etc. This, not so much, especially if you're messy like me, and I'm definitely a messy wearer. I do not pay attention to my clothing items, and they end up like hanging around on the floor, etc., etc. So if you're a person who loves their pieces, who looks and pays close attention to their pieces and hates like scratches and stuff, this is definitely a purchase I would not recommend going for in terms of bags, because bags usually rub a lot of things with them when you're wearing them, so that's not that practical for you and for your personal lifestyle. So that's the reason this one is a no for, I think, 99.9% of people who are really, really into like keeping their bags really pristine and beautiful. And this is it for this video. I hope it was not like very or just too negative, etc., etc. So the takeaway from this video is definitely going for items that definitely suit your lifestyle, that always get a good cost per wear for you and your lifestyle as well, and items that will serve you well in terms of their material and how it wears during the time of their being in your closet. So always pay attention to those things and make sure that the items you select, especially if you're going for investment items like something not very budget friendly, always double think and always make sure that those things definitely suit you, your needs, your lifestyle, and your closet and your style overall. And let me know in the comments below, let's say 3 things in your closet right now that you definitely would not buy again and that you maybe regret purchasing after all. And this is it for this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.